All right, April War defense update. We switched a few things up. Let me know what you think. Trying a couple things out. Slot one, pointing the wrong way. Slot one. I'm usually on the other side, so we have mercenaries. Trying to go lean into more pure mercenary. Trying to get out of the whole Shuri thing. I think it's just apples and oranges at the end of the day, but I do believe if you can go real solid pure mercs, they're actually better than the Shuri version. But that being said, the one adjustment you'll see is that Ultimus is in there, and the reason for this, I'm not going to go into all that, but if you got a minute, go do Tana's page. He did a video about a year ago, and it was this exact team, and at the time it was the toughest war defense he'd ever seen and his alliance ever seen. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at it, and they couldn't overcome it. That being said, obviously this is almost a year later. That's probably not going to be the case, but I'm going to try it out. Simply because, as you see in the third slide in, I'm trying to get really lean into some Killmonger shenanigans. That being said, we'll get to that team in a second. But in slot two, we have Pimtech. Pimtech, you'll notice the adjustment I've made here is that I've swapped out Ant-Man for Squirrel Girl. And the reason why is the favorite counter for this team is Brotherhood 2.0. And Squirrel Girl can clear those blinds, and that's why I put her there, just to shake things up a little bit. She was otherwise going to be on the bench with the current defense that I'm running, so I figure why not? Let's try it. Let's see if that puts a monkey wrench in anyone using Brotherhood 2.0, and see if Brotherhood can still overcome them. If who knows? At the end of the day, if we can get that blind off of these guys, I think that they can defend themselves pretty well. Moving on, this is a skill military kind of hybrid thing I've got going on. I did test this team quite a bit. I punched up on X-Men with Phoenix. I punched up on Marauders, and all around 40k punch ups in 8.3 Blitz, just to do some testing. At the end of the day, this has got a lot to do with leaning into Killmonger. Killmonger, I'm going to bring him up a little bit. I'm going to probably stick a T4 on his, I believe it's his passive. So when he gets defense up, he will attack the weakest enemy. This is going to be a fast team, so Elena Belova is going to come out of the gate, put disrupted on someone, and she's going to keep the crits down. Meanwhile, Captain Marvel is going to go right after there. We do have a military buff and boosted offense. There's all kinds of military stuff at work here between Captain Marvel giving health, giving more damage. You name it. There's a lot of synergies here, and I think Shuri should give defense up right off the jump too. So then Killmonger will go again. You got defense up coming later on from Red Guardian, who will also make Killmonger go. Additional offense. Curious how this team works. I have good hope for it after my testing, so I'll report back to see if it gets any wins, if someone rolls right through it, what they used to roll through it. And I've got some high hopes that they'll do okay. Moving on to Fantastic Four with Doom. This is the only team at the end of the day that Doom has real synergies with, like that's written into his kit. And I'm kind of sick of just watching Fantastic Four punch into Fantastic Four. It gets kind of old hat. It's literally what beats me every war is someone will punch up with another Fantastic Four to take out my Fantastic Four. It's a little annoying. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep them on defense anyway. Might as well make them something that people take a moment to either use a big resource for, or that they try something silly to take them out, because some of the characters other than Doctor Doom are underpowered. I'm going to build them up some. At the end of the day, I want this to be a good defense, but it's going to take a lot of work. So they are currently all of my favorited characters right now in an effort to build this team up to make them sustain a little bit better. I'm not sure what the cutoff point is because I don't feel super great about dumping a bunch of resources into Fantastic Four, but I'm gonna make them better. We'll see how it goes. Besides Doctor Doom, there's only one T4 in Invisible Woman, so there's lots of room for improvement. Next, we have plain old Sinister Six. They do all right by themselves, so I'm leaving them alone. Nothing special to report here. Then next we have regular Wave 1 Avengers. I do have a really big Thor. He's missing 2 T4s and an ISO 5, but I'm comfortable with where he's at. I don't really want to dump more resources into him at this point. There are some really hard counters for Wave 1, so I just hope somebody tries some silly punch-ups and they get a couple victories. It usually happens until somebody just says screw it and goes in with the right thing and takes them out. Which also brings us to the same conversation with Marauders. Marauders, a lot of people will put their Doom here in place of Sabretooth. I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to use the same counter on it regardless. And even though it'll make it a little bit more sketchy, I would rather have 2 good teams out of this than one team that's going to get countered by the same thing and still taken out anyway. And regardless of Doom, there's a really hard counter for this that makes me feel like putting Doom there is a waste. So if I did put Doom there, I think the team becomes like 824 or something like that. Really big defense. I'm going to try this out. If at some point I yank them back off Fantastic Four and put them there just to see how that goes, I might. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it how it is. At the end of the day, all of these teams have a dynamic to them that gives them an opportunity to potentially get some defensive wins. So I'm going to test out this setup. And then finally, we have, at the end, we have, I like to dub them the Shield Humans with a $sign as the S in Shield. Get it? It's Shield Humans, Silver Surfer dollars. Anyway, this right now is one of or the best defensive teams in the game. Once you swap out Silver Surfer in place of Fury, you really shouldn't be running Nick Fury on this team to make them shine. Some people still run Fury there because it probably bothers them that they dumped a bunch of resources in him and he's sitting on their bench. But at the end of the day, Nick Fury is what brings this team down. It turns Protector turns off Yo-Yo's passive, where she puts offense down on characters because one of the shield minions is a protector, so you don't want that. Plus, it throws 2 minions out on the field, which then makes this a potential symbiotes counter, which you also don't want. Otherwise, you can still use symbiotes on them, but you're probably going to have to punch down 100k, and there's still a very strong chance you'll lose. There are some hard counters for this still. I whooped this team's ass last war pretty easily, but I think that's the state of the game right now. Every single one of these war teams has a hard counter at this point in the game, which it is what it is. People are going to still try wild stuff occasionally, and I feel like all of these teams now are dialed in to where they can potentially at least get some wins here and there between all of them, and they're all good. At the end of the day, all good defensive teams now. Instead of before, I had probably like 3 weak teams, 4 weak teams up front, and you didn't really get into the hard teams until you got further down the road into the end of my setup. So this way, I feel like they all have some nuance to them where they can cause problems for the wrong counters. And yeah, that's my update. Let me know what you think. I dig it so far. We have war in the morning, so I'll let you know how it goes. Last war, I didn't get a chance to use them because the team we faced ran out of resources by the time they got to me. So until next video, we'll see you later. Peace. Do people still say that? Do people still say peace? Anyway, see you guys later. Bye.